Good morning. In celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day tomorrow, Monday, October 13th, we will begin today's service with our land acknowledgement. My name is Dove Eldridge. My pronouns are she, her. I have blue eyes, curly blonde hair, and I'm wearing a beaded hummingbird necklace and earrings created by a local Indigenous artist. Our land acknowledgement is an act of remembering, act of repair, act of accountability, act of acknowledgement and atonement. Let us take a moment to reflect on this place where we gather. Let us recall that this is the stolen ancestral land of the Chelamela and Chiffin bands of the Kalapuya people whose descendants still live among us. For time out of mind, Indigenous people lived here along the Willamette River, maintaining the diverse oak savanna ecosystem through careful land management based on their deep understanding and sense of kinship with the world around them. White American settlers and colonizers decimated entire villages with disease, forcibly laid claim to the land, and brutally removed the Kalapuya people, along with over 30 other tribes, to what are now the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians. The attempts to destroy Native culture continued through the banishment of languages, broken treaties, and the separation of children from their families sent to boarding schools where children were abused and traumatized. Today, there are several ongoing efforts in our region to revitalize languages, restore land and water rights, cultivate indigenous arts and sciences, and reestablish the sovereignty of Native tribes. Let those of us who occupy this land resolve together to dismantle the ongoing legacies of settler colonialism. May we do our part to steward this land, and may we continue to strengthen our relationships with our Indigenous neighbors. May it be so. Aho.
Thank you, Dove. And welcome, welcome, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Eugene. We extend a special welcome to those who are single, married, divorced, asexual, aromantic, transgender, queer, and questioning. We welcome you if you are filthy rich or dirt poor, y si no habla inglés. We extend a special welcome to our virtual visitors and to those gathered who are crying newborns and fussy little ones. You are welcome if you sing in the opera or if you can't carry a note in a bucket. You are welcome here if you are just browsing, just woke up, or if you just got out of jail. If you are ashamed or if you are grateful for the actions of your ancestors, sad or proud for the choices of your children, you are welcome here. We welcome you if you are more Catholic than the Pope, or if you haven't been in church since your cousin's wedding. We welcome Muslims, Jews, politicians, celebrities, and those of us who like to be in the background. We extend a special welcome to those who are over 60, but not grown up yet, and to teenagers who are growing up too fast. We welcome soccer moms, NASCAR dads, starving artists, tree huggers, latte sippers, vegetarians, junk food eaters, and chocoholics. We welcome those who are in recovery and still addicted. We welcome you if you are having problems, if you're down in the dumps, and if you don't like organized religion. We've been there too. If you spent all your offering money on impulse purchases or slot machines, you are welcome here. We extend a welcome to those who avoid social media at all costs, those who work hard, and those who hardly work. You are welcome if you can't spell, and if you're only here because grandma's in town and wanted to go to church. We welcome those who are inked, pierced, and both, and we offer a special welcome to those who could use a prayer right now, those who had religion shoved down their throat as a kid, those who got lost in traffic and wound up here by mistake. We welcome tourists, seekers, doubters, bleeding hearts, and you. Welcome. My name is Ardia Eichner, also known as Ace. I am your worship associate for this morning. I am a young adult with curly hair, and today I'm wearing a red bandana, a rainbow stole, and a shirt with some leaf prints. Today's service is part of our visioning series for the church's 4-year strategic plan. Led by our board members, we will be focusing on financial sustainability and all that entails for our organization and the work we do. And after we worship together, we encourage anyone who is able to stick around and join us for the listening circle on sustainability for the church. The discussion will take place after a brief break for snacks and chatting right here in the sanctuary or in the same Zoom room at 11:30.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Emily Cecile. I use she, her pronouns, and I have shoulder-length brown hair and purple glasses. Today, I'm wearing a golden sweater, and I will be doing our chalice lighting for today. Dove is gonna do the flame part, and I'm going to read words by Seth Carrier Ladd. This is Wind, Water, Sun. Wind that whispers through the willow trees, sun that sustains us, water that washes over willing earth and weathered stones, a smile shared and savored, a child's squeal of delight as she dances in the daisies and daffodils, the quiet joy of shared community. This is the spirit of life and love that we call forth now into this gathering. May this spirit infuse our hearts, fill our souls, and carry us forward like a wave on the ocean as we enter now into this sacred time and space. Come, let us worship together.
Good morning. My name is Phyllis O'Neill, and I use the pronoun she, her, and I am wearing, well, let me say, I got curly blonde hair, mostly gray now, glasses, and I'm wearing a gray sweater. I'm going to read something to you from the Heart ritual, adapted from Planting the Seeds of Generosity by Madison Taylor. As the old adage goes, it is always in giving that we receive. Beware of how much we are always supported by the universe is one of the keys to abundance and generosity. Consciously remember the times you've received support from unexpected and expected sources. Remember anyone who has helped you when you've needed it most, and bless for the lessons and gifts that life has brought to you. Remember that all things given and received emanate from generosity. Giving is an act of gratitude. Plant the seeds of generosity through your acts of giving, and you will grow the roots of abundance for yourself and for those around you. A little poem by Anonymous. Money's a fickle friend indeed, a tempting lure, a constant need. It builds and breaks, it gives and takes, a source of joy and a world of aches. It talks of power, whispers lies, but cannot buy true love's sunrise. For in the end, it's not the gold, but what we share that makes us bold.
Well, hello you all again. I, as you may know, am a member of the UUCE Board of Trustees. But before I joined the board, I was a member of your visioning team. And in our many conversations, financial sustainability came up a lot. There was a lot of talk about money, worry about money. We have plenty of stuff that we like to do, but how are we going to pay for it? Our hopes and dreams for the future of this congregational community are huge. And as much as we wish it were otherwise, it costs money to make things happen around here. In Lynn Twist's book, The Soul of Money, in a chapter called Scarcity, the Great Lie, she writes, quote, "What I have found is that no matter where we are in the political, economic, or financial resource spectrum, the myths and mindset of scarcity create an underlying fear that we and the people we love or care about won't have enough of what's needed to have satisfying, happy, productive, or even survivable life." UUCE is not giving into this mindset of scarcity. In fact, we are actively embracing a mindset of abundance and generosity. In 2009, UUCE voted to take a huge leap of faith against the scarcity mindset. We took out a $1.4 million mortgage and moved down from the hill to be closer to those who need our help. Last year, we paid off this mortgage early. Our church is now a central hub of community. Our parking lot is rarely empty. We, the church, are giving to we, the wider community, helping to alleviate the very real scarcity that impacts many. These wonderful gifts, from food justice and community offerings to accessible meeting space and beyond, act as antidotes to scarcity. We, the church members, are giving time, talent, and treasure to the church to support this nourishment of the wider community, both inside and outside of our congregation. And as we have seen in the previous visioning services and listening circles, we also have plenty of ideas for new or expanded programs that could help resist scarcity even more. But our church is operating at maximum capacity for our current level of volunteer and financial support. We are approving deficit budgets to maintain current programming and staff, and then squeaking by at the end of the year, though only by stretching our resources and fundraising capacity to the limit. While our congregational numbers are growing steadily, our finances are not keeping up. The reality is that we are an aging congregation, and our new younger members do not have the financial resources to fill the wealth gaps left by those who become our ancestors. And do I even need to mention the barrier we are all facing in this economy? Yeah, it's heavy. One could see how we could easily give into the mindset of scarcity and start cutting programs to save money for future unknowns. But this is where our visioning goals come to the rescue. An anonymous quote reminds us that money ain't the mission, though it's part of the plan. The financial sustainability strategies are designed to evaluate and adapt our current money practices, while inviting the greater community to help us financially live out our mission. We want to bring in other sources of funding, outside sources, so we are not as heavily dependent on pledge funds and rental income. We currently host the book sale and the Winter Wonderland Bazaar, which both bring in funds from the greater community, but we need more points of reciprocal financial support and connection to build a sustainable future. As the strategic plan says, partnering with others to sustain our congregation embodies our belief in the power of collective effort. Through shared resource and mutual support, we fulfill our calling to build a resilient and interconnected community. So, goal number 1 is to invest in creative financial partnerships to sustain the congregation and maximize building usage. This goal includes strategies such as exploring shared staff with a partner organization, creating a personal financial curriculum like OWL, but for money management, perhaps called Our Whole Paychecks, hosting more community sliding scale events, and optimizing our rental income, and to live deeper into our values, convening a thought force on balancing fundraising goals with access. One of our big dreams that falls under this area is to support our growing congregation by hiring more staff. Raising the funds for just one paid staff role could pay back exponentially via congregant engagement, growth, and volunteer coordination. Our dear Linda has already sparked this change in participation in her volunteer coordinator role. Thank you, Linda. Goal number 2 is to strengthen our current financial development programs. This is our reflection section, where we review and modernize our fundraising, pledge drive, and planned giving program. To strengthen our programs even further, we will also investigate new opportunities to financially sustain the church, such as grant writing, marketing, outreach, and more. As we apply these approaches, we hope to engage the many talents within our congregation to assist with the development and implementation of these ideas to reach our financial goals. One strategy in this section that I relate deeply to is developing multi-year budgets and new approaches to long-term financial planning. Under this goal, or this strategy, we would do a reserve study of our church and create budgets that span 3 years. When I started on disability for my chronic illness, besides actually having time to take care of myself, one of the biggest changes was my income. It went down significantly. One of the best things I did was sit down and do a sort of personal reserve study of my expenditures. I made a strict budget and looked to outside resources for support. Shout out to Produce Plus Co's here. Thank you, guys. I knew I would eventually need expensive items such as new glasses, visits to the dentist without insurance, a new mattress, annual car insurance, and enough money for my medical deductible at the beginning of the year. Now I pay myself rent for these items each month by saving an estimated portion of eventual costs, usually with a small increase to account for inflation. It's not the most glamorous process, but I literally sleep better at night because of it. And I save more money by paying for larger purchases all at once. The church hopes to do our own reserve study to look at the lifespans and future expected costs of things like a new roof, maintaining and replacing the HVAC system, building repairs, technology maintenance, and replacement costs. We also want to plan for meaningful milestones such as a church anniversary celebration and ordinations. By planning ahead, we can mitigate the weight of a single large financial need by spreading the fundraising out over several years or over the expected lifespan of an item. We can also seek grant money to support larger projects. Lastly, under this strategy, we want to keep up with the times and ensure we are using the most appropriate modern technologies in our practices. This includes having a mechanism where everyone can submit ideas they've seen out in the wider world as suggestions to use here at UUCE. And the financial sustainability goal number 3 also prompts us to use modern technology in our fundraising. This one's pretty out there, but bear with me. It is to experiment with crowdfunding to support specific programs as well as the general fund. So many of us experience reactions from people out in the community when they hear what church we attend. Oh, that's a great church, or I went there for that event. And even when sharing with relatives out of town, they express joy and gratitude for the things we do here to help our community. So here's where we want to invite them to support our mission with crowdfunding. One example is to use Faithify. It is a UUA program similar to other crowdfunding sites you might be familiar with, like Kickstarter or GoFundMe. Members of the church, where churches can create fundraising campaigns and both church members and other interested parties who might want to support specific goals can pledge on them. We might also come up with a quarterly support model where people subscribe to our church for information on our mission, exchanging for updates, perhaps like a newsletter or video that kind of shares what we're doing in our social justice initiatives. Using these modern fundraising platforms will give more opportunities for the wider community to come support us in our mission. Our vision and goals can help us bridge the gap between our congregation and the outside community, leading us to more reciprocity and interdependence in all areas, including financial sustainability. Fighting the scarcity mindset by leading into abundance is the way to a financially sustainable future. We can bring in this abundance, manage it with wisdom and care, and gift antidotes to scarcity through our radical hospitality and generosity. We can help one another align the use of our whole paychecks with our UU values, and we can continue to grow our place at the center of our community. And we can do all of this while keeping love at the center of our plan. Thank you. Well, that was a great song to end on. Woo! I have a benediction here by Reverend Dr. Kimmy Floyd Reich. Spirit of life, we give thanks for the soil where life begins and ends, for the black rain-scented loam of the north and the sun-baked sands of the south. Teach us to plant with faith, to tend with patience, to harvest with gratitude, and to rest with trust in the seasons to come. When the peppers thrive, may we rejoice. When the zucchini transforms, may we learn. When the tomatoes split before our eyes, may we remember that every season holds both birth and loss, and both are teachers. Root us in humility and hope. Grow us in the wisdom to live in balance, to honor cycles older than we can remember, and to adapt with courage to each season's gifts and limits. Let our lives live like our gardens, be shaped by care, by listening, and by love for the earth that sustains us all. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be.